I think we're okay. Here we go.
Hello and welcome back to the Conscious Cowboys. I almost did another intro. Dang it, I forgot. I was thinking about it when I was getting ready, but it's okay. Welcome back.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, hey. That sounds stupid. Not like that, but hi, welcome back. You have Madison and Tess. Just like without saying the Conscious Cowboys.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's roll with that.
All right. Well, too late. We'll do it in the next one. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone had an awesome holiday weekend. It's actually Halloween today for us, but it's not for you anymore. So I hope it was awesome and that you were safe. We had a great time.
We did. Isn't that funny though? Like after a holiday, how once it's over, right? Like think
Moved
about,
on.
you just like don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah.
You're, like Christmas. I remember my mom like, okay, day after Christmas essentially, or basically 2 days after, like rip it all down.
Oh yeah.
We're done.
We were day after for sure. My mom's like, all right, time to get up on the ladder. Like we need to go outside, rip the lights off. I'm like, can we just like let it linger for a little?
Nope.
I thought there was a grace period between like Christmas and New Year.
There is.
You know?
There is for sure. And you like want to
with
ride
other
it out.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not with our family.
No,
yeah,
not quite. But yeah, we did have a fun weekend. We were down in San Diego.
People who know that we're obsessed with San Diego. Each time we go down there, we know we want to move there. Like it literally feels like home once we're on the 5 and we see like San Clemente. We know. I'm like, we've made it. This is it.
So we had a fun weekend. We stayed with our friends that live down there. And for those who are curious, we did go out. Wow.
Oh my God.
We did drink.
That's nerdy. I have like the literal chills thinking about even saying that.
What, how nerdy?
No, how we're excited that we did that.
Well, I mean, it's not that we're excited that we did that. It's more so just kind of a shock. Like I got asked this morning because I was teaching and the girls who come and take class know me very well. And they're like, so like, did you go out? Did you drink? Wow. And they're all like pushing for that. So I think that maybe we should fill in.
We also we shocked the people we were with, but I also like doing that. Like Tess and I have spoken about that. We just like to, I don't know, do something that's not typically seen as being Tess and Madison behavior, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we can drink whenever we want. Do we do it every weekend? No. But when we want to, yeah.
I was surprised that we didn't have hangovers.
Yeah.
Only because we don't drink.
Yeah.
But also the way that we did drink, like we just had straight tequila and we didn't mix it and we were drinking water also. And like I don't know, stayed up. Like we never got to the point where we were drunk. So I guess that helps.
Just both kind of knew it was over. Like you just have that feeling of like no more, which I never used to have that feeling. It was always like, let's just drink until blackout. Yeah, exactly. I was like, until I like don't remember.
We used to black out?
No. I've never actually blacked out, I don't think. But when you kind of just like start to engage in behavior where it's like, who's that? And I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, I'm glad that even though we went out and we had fun and we did all that we stayed true to who we are.
Yeah, I love that.
We pushed the boundaries a little bit, but neither of us were out there getting weird and wild and like acting.
But who's to say we might another time, you know? It just wasn't the time.
This weekend.
Because I do like to get weird sometimes, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, it was very mellow, but fun.
I fully regret holding this teacup.
I know.
Like for real, it's heavy as shit and it's making me hot. We had a really interesting experience in an Uber. I feel like anytime I take an Uber and the person is chatty, it's always something wild that comes out of their mouth. Like I hardly ever have normal Uber rides.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, Tess and I were split up in different Ubers the whole time, I think, except for this time.
I'm so glad we were together.
Me too.
This was meant to be.
Yeah, this was really meant to be. And when we got in the car, the guy that was driving was FaceTiming people during the drive.
That was so weird. I guess it was like a group FaceTime. Like there was 3 people also on the call.
Yeah. And so we just got in and we're like, huh. And I was looking at it and I was like, okay, that's, I've never seen that before. And he was very silent when we got in. Like I was like, oh man, this is just going to be like a silent ride, which is fine, like that's fine.
I don't love it because I know that they're just eavesdropping and that's also fine. Like if my friends and I are in your car and we're chit chatting, obviously you're going to listen.
They probably like heard so many conversations. You're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But sometimes they have their like
AirPods in, so they don't listen. Yeah, sometimes. But this guy,
like, okay.
So we got in this guy's car and he was like kind of quiet and we're thinking, oh, okay, like maybe he doesn't want to talk. But then it took such a hard left turn, like where it went, I had no idea this was coming.
And I'm trying to, like, I want to recap almost everything, which I know we can't, but I'm trying to remember what sparked this conversation.
Oh, I know. So on that group FaceTime, there were women on the call who were saying, like, what justifies a cougar? Like, what is the age gap that needs to be there to be considered a cougar? And then they were talking about it, and they were tossing around like 10, 15 years. And so one of them was like, oh shit, then like I'm a cougar, you know, like I'm being a cougar right now. Cause I guess whatever, she's getting with someone younger. And he was like, haha, do you guys hear this? Like, do you hear what they're talking about? And then we got into the conversation about cougars, and the people we were with, they were like answering if they've ever been with someone older and whatever. And then he was like, I don't date or like sleep with anybody younger or older than me at this point.
Yeah.
And he gave us 2 very detailed stories as to why he does not go up or down on the spectrum in terms of age. And what he shared was so wild. I like, oh my God. The first one was that this was not the Russian prostitute,
No, this was someone, he first started with
the
like
older.
the woman was the cougar, and I don't know what age he was, but basically the punchline of it all, which you don't even have to go into the whole thing, is that he was just saying like she was licking me all over my body, and it felt so good that I could shit on her face. Literally. That is a quote from this Uber driver, okay?
I am crying. He also said that his toes, it felt so good. That it felt so good that his toes were curling. And he goes, I was like a koala. I could climb up a tree.
Yeah. I was like, we were dying.
It was such a turn from how the ride started. And the fact that he had that story. And he was getting like, what we're giving you is the bare minimum. I think we're laughing really hard because we understand like the full story and
it
how
was so theatrical.
Yes,
and
he was so graphic
into the story.
And he had like this very big personality, which was shocking again because he
started quiet. Yeah.
But then he told the other story, which was so shocking. I'm like, actually, how did this happen to you? He was with someone younger, and he said that she was Russian and like loved
she was
to
21,
drink.
22. He was 45.
Okay.
At the time.
She loved to drink, and they were like drinking, and I guess her friend and his friend were also there, and like some shit was happening, right? And she was basically telling him like whatever they were drinking that was his was not strong enough for her. So she was like, I've got something. And she takes it out, and he like was in disbelief that she was drinking it. And he was like, we got so messed up so quick. So he continued on with the story that they ended up like getting it done, right? And she asks him to do it out on the balcony, like this wraparound balcony, like kind of like not a porch, right? But like overlooking a canyon, as he explained. And she was asking him to like, I'm trying to not be so graphic, but like push harder, like go like hard with her.
Send it.
And he said that his leg was up on the banister of the balcony. And as he was like sending it.
Pumping it.
As he was pumping it, the banister broke. The whole thing gave way. She fell down off the balcony and
into the canyon.
Yeah, and she broke a leg and an opposite arm, like left leg, right arm. And then they were like yelling for their friends in the house to like call 911. But then he told us that he also fell off the balcony, and he landed, I don't know if I believe it, but he landed in a tree.
Right.
And he said that he saw all the lights coming, and he heard the friend's voice, the girl that was friends with her, saying, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Because the way his body was slopped over the tree branch made him look like he was dead. He said he was butt naked, and they had to hoist him out. The firefighters had to hoist him out of the tree with like the whole like, system, like up and out. Yeah. Like, what do you say? Like a horse out of a pond?
Yes. I was like, damn, this man, I don't know if he's told these stories before. I'm sure he has, but he has it nailed. Like, it was so perfect.
The execution of the story.
Yeah, amazing.
I felt like I lived it with him.
Yeah, same. And I don't know if our laughter was probably fueling the story, which I'm happy it was, because it just was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it just was so articulate. Like, it started with the cougar. He broke out 2 different reasons as to why he doesn't go high or low anymore in terms of age.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. And but all of us would have settled with like, okay, he doesn't like date older or younger anymore. He's like, and here's why. And I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was great.
That's like more reason to go out and to meet people and just strike up conversation, because you don't know what people have lived through. And it's always, if they are willing to share information like that with you, it's always so riveting.
Yeah, as soon as during the story, Tess was like writing bullet points because we both knew that we had to share the story on the pod.
We couldn't, everybody who was in our Uber, we got out and we were like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then we saw our friends who were in the other Uber and we were telling them the story and they're like, what? No, you did not. Like, you did not have that. I'm like, no, it really, yeah.
Yeah, it was it. Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to record him, but then I felt bad because I was just like, that's not, like, I wouldn't necessarily want to be recorded. You know, I don't even know if that's legal, if you can record someone without telling them. So I just left it and I just wrote down bullet points.
Yeah. It's better for memory. And also the things that we didn't say, like, you just had to be there, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kept for us yeah. Great.
But that brings us to the point of just feeling so grateful for our friends and like how grounding that is for us to be able to go and be with our friends. Like, they actually feel like family at this point.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We have obviously like a debrief on the way home because it's hard to not like you're go the whole weekend, but then you reflect in the car because it's like 2.5 hour drive. And we were just like, oh, they're our chosen family. Yeah. And that's why I want to be close to them. Mm-hmm. Like, not only is San Diego, the area, really awesome, but the people make it.
Yeah, like the fact that we have them down there just seals the deal. Like, it makes it even more of a push to go because we have instant like family down there essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And even though, I mean, this is related to this, is that on Friday we left and we were feeling good that day. Like, yeah, we were doing good. But we had a moment of just like not good, which is fine. And I always think back to like whenever I travel, life obviously still happens like wherever you go, you know? And to deal with it, like obviously we've been talking about like being grounded on the pod, but we were in the house getting ready just for like Friday night, whatever we were doing. And Tessa's like, okay, do you want to just like go for a drive and like get out of this place so that we can like feel better? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we had a good talk, like just sitting by the water. But I feel like now I know, and I do know this already, is it's like the simple things that like can bring you back down. Like when you're feeling anxious, which I was that day, it just being by the water and actually talking with like someone that understands you and actually listens is really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That brings me to like the idea of wherever you go, there you are, that we had a conversation about maybe last week or the week before. But it's true. I mean, like, yeah, you can go distract yourself and you can go do things that feel really good. But if you have things like stirring up in your head, they're gonna come up for you.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't just distract yourself to the point of they don't exist. And I think that what we did was so important because I feel like if we hadn't taken a moment out to just ground and resettle, then who knows where it would have gone, you know, like we might have like woken up the next morning and just been like, oh my God. Yeah. Or also we could have gone to dinner with our friends and it'd been fine.
Totally.
But I think honoring just where you're at and knowing how to help yourself in that type of moment is so good.
Yeah, I know that was honestly so helpful because the anxiety that I was feeling, like, I don't know if it sparked. We got decaf coffees. Like, we had the best day, honestly. Like, it could not have been more perfect. And then we went to go get decaf coffees at this place that was just not it. Like, it was just not the vibe. And I don't think they're decaf. I do not know, but it sent me on, like, a fucking spiral of just, like, anxiety. It was not right at all. I was like, oh, my God. Because I seriously have to work to, like, not be anxious, like, every day. So it was just not right. Yeah. But it was helpful. I think, like, one of the conclusions that we came to is just like, personally for me, is that I need to be better at like talking to people about what I'm going through versus holding it in. But if you're an OG listener, I don't know. I don't do that a lot.
Yeah. But you also, if you're an OG listener, you recognize how far you've actually come with that.
Totally.
Because in the beginning episodes, we didn't even really know what we were going to talk about. It was very formal. And now we just sit here and
like rattle off the top of our heads.
Yeah. And like express feelings.
Say today. Yeah, exactly.
another conclusion we came to is just, yeah, we have to like talk about it. But mine was that I need to be better about not living in my shit for too long. Meaning I got into that, we talked about it last week. Like I got into this phase mentally where everything felt like chaotic and heavy. And then I started noticing like everything was snowballing and I just didn't feel good. And I even had like one of my best friends text me last week after she listened to, I think it was Wednesday's episode.
Yes.
And she was just like, I just want to check in on you because I was in that headspace. Now I got to say, after we recorded that episode, I was like a different person. I made a decision of like, I'm not going to carry all this around. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want this to be my life. Like I want to feel like, even though there's all this change around the corner and I'm like dealing with so much on a personal level, that I just still want to feel like me. I don't want it to overwhelm me to the point where I'm kind of losing my personality and my sense of self and like the enjoyment out of life.
Right.
So we've come full circle. We're back to ourselves for the most part, you know, with a grain of salt. Things obviously ebb and flow.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I'm trying to think of what else. Because I remember like what you and I talked about me. Like I'm trying to even recap that because I don't mind like sharing that. Like one of the reasons that I was feeling anxious that day, I think I was saying it was because something about like that I personally want to be like very successful in many ways. Like that doesn't mean financially, but just like in life. And I feel like I'm really far from that right now. So then like it gives me anxiety of like, oh my God, am I going to be able to reach that point or whatever points that I'm thinking of success, you know? And yeah, it just like felt so heavy at that moment. But even just saying it, I mean, not that we kind of came up with like a little game plan of just like easing our way into the transition of like finding new jobs or moving, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, but I think addressing it and almost like shining a light on what it is that's like figuring out the root of the problem, right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying. Like when we were talking in the car, we were just like talking about little things, and I was like, okay, I need to like veer off of this and like, what is like the main point of this whole thing?
Yeah. And it's hard because when you see like your loved one having like a moment, right? You're like, you're not quite sure what they need. You're like, do we need to just keep it light and fun and like chill, or do we need to actually go there? And I feel like that's very individual and also very circumstantial.
Yeah.
Like you don't know unless you just try.
Totally.
And like you can always just pose the question like do you want to like try to figure out like where this is coming from right now, or do you want to just like chill?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really important to have friends like this in your life where you're able to actually like uncover shit and go, okay, what's actually going on here?
Yeah. And not feel like I'm never scared to like tell you anything, you know? I'm just like, oh, I feel like it's very supportive space. So that's really helpful.
I'm glad. Same here. There was something I wanted to talk about with friendship.
On a lighter note.
Yeah.
Tess and I have like, it's almost like a running joke, mostly between us. I don't think we even talk about it on the podcast, but we just kind of have conversations revolving around being friends on a personal level, or I guess like women, heterosexual women specifically being friends with heterosexual males. Like, can that work out without one of the people catching feelings? So we just like laugh about that. And it's kind of like we talk about it a lot because it's just like a funny, I don't know. We don't know. But Tess came up with like a good.
I think. I don't want to like.
No, but in my head, I was like, I mean, this obviously isn't factual by any means, but like in our life, it is applicable.
Okay. I think that you can, like heterosexual males and females can be close friends platonically without catching feelings, right? What were the points? If
I know
there's just like general not attracted to each other physically.
Correct. That's like a huge one, obviously, if you're not attracted to them
because like if
physically.
you think that they're physically attractive, then like that, I mean,
like,
obviously like,
but then it's like,
but everyone's attractive,
exactly,
you know? So like you don't want to go there
yeah.
because I can look at all of my platonic male friendships and I'm like, you are fucking adorable.
Yeah,
like, I
totally.
love you. But it's different. Like I can easily categorize certain people into that platonic category because I like don't have a sex drive towards them.
Correct. Like you don't have like that feeling of like,
so it's not that they're unattractive. It's
Correct.
just more so like, do
Not
I
for me.
have the physical attraction towards you?
Right.
That's the baseline. What were the other ones? I think that was like the main.
The main for me, which made sense for me, is that they can be friends if they're not hanging out every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
I was like, dude, that is it. If it's like a long distance friendship, it's way easier.
Yeah, because if they're not like right in front of your face all the time, then it's easier to just be like, oh, yeah, I see him every once in a while and we catch up and whatever. And then like that's
And we're obviously talking about if both of the parties are single.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, if you're in a relationship, we don't fucking
go
that
there.
Is
like absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
And usually it sucks because when your guy friends get in a relationship with a new girl, you don't hang out with them anymore.
It's awful.
What? Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
I send a note out to my guy friends. No, if you do that to me, I'll be so mad. No, but it's true. It happens. Like it happened in my life, just in reverse. Like I stopped hanging out with everybody we are hanging with now. It's not that I like cut ties because I couldn't have male friends in my relationship, but it naturally progressed that way. Like I just started spending more time with my, at the time, boyfriend.
Right.
And then my friendships with everybody else just kind of took a back seat. And I'm like, okay, I understand that that's natural for everybody, but I want to do everything in my power going forward to not have that be the narrative.
I know.
Like, yeah, obviously you go and spend more time one-on-one with people and you like are with their families and you're invested in their lives too. But I don't want it to be like, oh, well, you can't have Tess and Madison as your friends.
I seriously already more in the day that
no, I would have a conversation with that person. Like whoever was saying that, I'd be like, let's have a chat.
Yeah, that's good. I would want to do that too if they were open to it. But I feel like it's not all the time, but a lot of it is just like, that's like a hard no. You just don't do that anymore.
Yeah, or like it's like a backseat conversation that you're not even aware of. Like you can just feel that it's happening.
Yes, and they distance themselves for you, but obviously they're not going to be like, listen, we need to not hang out anymore.
Yeah, because so-and-so
it's just they don't answer your texts or calls anymore or something.
Awful. I swear.
I don't want that. I like have the chills thinking about it. It makes me like sad. I'm like.
There are ways around it though. But yes, okay, back to the topic of we think that you can be platonic friends for sure.
Yeah, and we're proving so many people listening. They're like, yeah, totally. But I feel like I've
historically had
moments where it just doesn't happen, and also, so I'm just going off of like my past history with it, and like stories I've heard from friends of like one of you like you end up sleeping together, then something happens, you know, either like goes really bad and you just like don't talk anymore. I don't know. So, yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
Yeah, it's just yeah, but I like having friends that are guys. It's nice. It's different.
It's the best.
Yeah, it really is. Like
I shouldn't say the best because it's not better than female friends, but
it's just different.
It's different. My time with them is so valued because it's different feeling, you know?
Yeah.
It's just easy.
And also they're also like affectionate, which we love.
We hit the jackpot there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like creepy. It's just like, oh,
like snuggly.
Yeah, cute. Yeah. Yeah.
We're just like, you can tell we just went back fully to our weekend with them. Aw, I can't wait to be neighbors.
They're like, we don't feel the same way. Imagine.
Okay. There's no way that
also,
that's the case.
Also, I don't care if you don't because we're still going to bug you. You know, like.
There's no way that's the case, though.
Yeah.
Why would they be affectionate back and want to hang out and invite us to all these things? You know? Yeah. Speaking of friends, someone who listens to the podcast wrote in, or I guess sent a voice message in, just saying, like, you guys always talk about your friends and they're clearly such a big part of your life and you talk about how amazing they are. You should have them on.
Right.
And we were like, great
idea.
We're already in the process of that. So you'll be hearing like more of our friends on the pod soon, which is really great.
Yeah, because why not? Like, I feel like Tess and I at the beginning closed ourselves off to that because we were like, we need to have professionals in the field of like the topic that we're speaking on. But now we're just like, no, let's just have some of our people on.
Yeah. And I mean, not to say no to professionals, but also our friends add so much value to our lives that there's a good chance they'll add value to yours as well, just based on their human experience. Like, it's not any different from us sharing.
Right. Totally.
And hearing our friends tell stories, like we were talking with them this weekend, I'm like, you have so much cool shit to say. Like,
totally.
Let's go.
Like, I can't wait to hear more. And we almost did it this weekend, but it just did not pan out. Like, we packed like so much into the weekend that having to record was just like a burden at that point. Mm-hmm. So in the next few weeks, hopefully you'll be getting an episode just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, also that same person, which that was a good segue, is this person DM'd us about our second to last episode, 120. This is 126, 124, finding the one. And they literally, I appreciate all of the messages they sent, and they were like audio messages, and they were talking about like soulmates and stuff. And I was just like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh my God, we were not even like, it didn't even pop into my head about soulmates. And like, I feel sad that we did like just went over, like we didn't go over that at all. Cause I'm like, oh, I totally believe in soulmates. Like on a friend level, obviously Tess and I are soulmates. And I feel that with like most of my friends, I'm just like, yeah, we were meant to be together, like on such a deep level. But even with like people that you love, like that you fall in love with intimately, I believe in soulmates for sure. But I was just like, oh my God, did we completely just like not cover that at all? And now we sound like total assholes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did not cover it.
We didn't. And I'm like, and
that's why that person was confused, because they were like, well, you didn't talk
They're
about
like,
it.
oh my God, I couldn't believe it in a sense that you guys didn't talk about that. And we're just like, oh my God. But then it starts the conversation that Tess and I have a lot, is that these episodes are just like 30 minutes out of our lives. And like, we can't fit every single belief and every single thing that we think in that little window of the day. So you're not really ever getting the full picture. It's just like in that moment, what are we thinking? Who are we?
And then that just further confirms that if anybody has some shit to say, you
don't know the full picture.
You don't
okay?
know.
This is the best we can be in this moment, and it's as authentic as it can be. And if we forget something, it's probably because we didn't write it down, because we don't do bullet point lists anymore. Thank God for that.
Woo! That was
that is stressful as hell. Oh my God.
Like the conversation, if you try to if you're thinking about starting a podcast, obviously in the beginning, like it's helpful if you have some bullet points, but sticking to it so heavily and not allowing the conversation to flow is so stressful. That's why I find interviewing people really stressful, because we have definitely like specific topics that we want to stick to because we are having them on for a reason, right? But I would always find it really stressful to like actually interview someone.
Yeah.
Because of how regimented it felt. Like, yeah, we could veer off from the topic, but then it's almost like they're waiting for the conversation to get back on track, and then we have to guide it there, and it's too much.
Yeah, and it just puts way too much pressure on the situation, because we'll ask a question and we have one lined up, like, okay, we're going to ask this one next. But that question leads into like a whole other string of questions. And then Tess and I would just like freeze, because we're like, okay, we really want to ask this question, but now I have 6 other unrelated questions. Is that okay? But we were just making weird ass rules in our heads.
No, absolutely.
We actually didn't even care.
No. And interviewing is not even that hard. It's just in that time period that we were actually interviewing people for the podcast, I felt like it was just not
right.
Not ripe enough yet. You know, us as people were not there.
Yeah. And I think we just needed to take the pressure off, because we figured out that for us, it works that if we just act like the people we're interviewing are our friends, or like people that we're genuinely interested in, which is what we are, but we just ask them questions we want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus like thinking of things that maybe other people would want to know.
Right. Like, and the people, or the questions that other people want to know, we'll just write those in so that we can look and be like, oh, okay, we should probably ask that towards the end or whatever. Yeah. So there's a bunch of realizations, you know, we're doing it.
Seems like every time we go down out of town anywhere, we come back and we're like,
reconfirms a lot of stuff, and then I also have a lot to work on still, but we're doing good. Yeah, we are doing good.
But I feel like that's all for this little ep. So thank you.
Yeah, I just had a moment where I was like, we gotta record another episode.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Wow.
Madison's grand idea of doing 2 a week. I'm just kidding,
dude. It was a joint effort. Okay.
Just kidding.
But dang.
So we're gonna
crush it. It's gonna be great. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one, and as always, subscribe, follow, hit the like button if you're watching the YouTube and you actually made it through these full 30 minutes. Like, thank you so much,
and tell your friends and your family. Share the cowboy love.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right,
until next time, guys.
Talk soon.
Bye. I always say bye.
Bye.